TO plays.
Hey there, Steve again, bringing some more Kerbal Space Program footage. This time, thought I would give you guys a career mode demo. I mentioned in my last video, my first video, that I started on career mode. So, if any of you like me, you like the challenge of playing something, I guess the way a game is sort of intended to be played, yeah, career mode might be for you. I'm not going to go over all the features of the game. There's plenty of other great walkthroughs out there. This is kind of the way I started playing, so I'll show you, take you down my memory lane, jump straight into the vehicle assembly building if you're me. You want to see what kind of rockets and what kind of parts do you have to play with. And then you will notice there's not a lot to do. So, I think the best thing to start with is to go to mission control and see what kind of missions we can do. And this is kind of what guides you and what encourages you to try new things and to achieve new things. It's also how you get a lot of rewards like prestige, which I don't really bother with too much, and money, which you definitely need in career mode. So let's see, gather scientific data on Kerbal is a career we can accept or decline. Launching our first vessel, escaping the atmosphere, and orbiting Kerbal. Just from experience, I can tell you we're probably not ready to orbit. I have seen some other YouTubers that managed to do it with the parts you start with, but I think for the layperson, that's not going to be something we want to try to attempt. So let's do gather scientific data around Kerbal. Let's see, if you read the fine print, basically the objective is to recover or transmit any scientific experiment from Kerbal. That definitely seems doable, so we'll take that. We can only do 2 contracts at a time with this with the level of this building, this facility. So let's see, launch our first vessel. That seems also quite easy to do. So we got our max 2 contracts that we can hold at once. Later we can upgrade our mission control building and we can have more contracts. Let's jump back to the vehicle assembly building then. All we got to do is collect science somewheres, and we got to launch any kind of vehicle. So we could use the Russian style onion pod. We can use the MK1, the Mark 1 command module. That's what I tend to use. These rounder pods, the Russian style pods, they do have a lot of good uses. I ended up using them later once you can use fairings, because they're not very aerodynamic. Let's see, what else do we have? Don't need any of that. I'm starting off with an awful lot. I'm also not going to walk you guys through much of the controls, because those you can play with for yourself, and like I said, they've got plenty of good tutorials. But I do recommend learning some hotkeys, at least increasing and decreasing symmetry, changing symmetry from mirror to radial, and those sorts of hotkeys are pretty helpful, especially if you're going to play a lot. Let's see. Anything else that I can do? There's the one science experiment that I'll be able to do. I'm going to put on 3 of them. I'll explain why in a second. And then 1 parachute. That's all we can use for now. I'm ready to launch my vessel, but before I do that, let me double check my staging, and sure enough, my engine needs to be before the parachute. So when I stage, first thing to go will be that solid rocket booster, and the second would be the parachute. If you put them together, when you activate the first stage, the parachute's going to pop off, and the rocket's going to ignite, and it's going to be a lot of mess, a lot of fun. For my crew, I believe Jebediah, he's a pilot. They're all starting with 0 experience, so first it doesn't really matter who you use. As you reach milestones, they do level up. There are perks to leveling them up, but for now, we'll let Jeb fly our first craft. I won't name it anything because it's not going to be something I'll ever fly again, hopefully. Let's launch. So as soon as I launch this, I'll complete one of the contracts. But before I do that, I'll collect some science, complete the second contract. So observing mystery goo. Yep, and I'll keep that experiment because recovering it will give me more science than transmitting it. Technically, I don't even have any means of transmitting the experiment right now. I think I can do an EVA because I'm on the ground. I can do an EVA report, which gives me some science. I can't take a surface sample yet because my astronaut facility is not high enough level. So let me get back in. So I've already done 2 science experiments without even leaving the ground. And let's see if I could do a crew report. Yes, I can. So now I've got 3 science experiments. I don't need the throttle because I'm using a solid rocket booster, so I leave my throttle alone, but I will turn on my SAS control. I believe the command module's got a little, a reaction wheel in it, so that'll help me stabilize as I fly, and I'm ready to shoot off. I probably got enough thrust to get over to the water, actually, make a splash landing, so as soon as I lift off, I'm going to tilt to the left. I'm sorry, to the right. See, that means I've already completed my contracts. I'm out of fuel. What I really could have done is reduce my fuel by probably half or more, because I'm obviously well over the water. Didn't need to go that fast, that far, because I just want to splash down so I can go and collect my rewards, get some new contracts, unlock bigger and better ports. Because I want to get into orbit. I don't know about you guys, but that was my first objective, was to get something in space and leave it there. So this is all fun and this is important, but we can do better than this. Might as well activate my second mystery goo, and I'll keep that. You'll notice the first one, the cartridge or the canister stayed open. The second one stayed open. They're not reusable at this stage in the game, so that's why I brought 3 along, because I knew I'd use one on the launch pad. I'd use another one in the air, and we're descending. We're starting to pick up speed, so let me deploy my parachute. And when I splash down is when I'll use my 3rd canister. Let's speed up time because nothing interesting is happening. As we descend, when we get to about 1,000 meters is when that parachute deploys, and you see my speed drops dramatically. 7 meters per second. That's still relatively fast for some parts. That engine on the bottom, for instance, it may or may not break as it hits the water, but might be slow enough. Very good. Oh, it looks like broke the fins. Okay, so it did do some damage. Now let's do our last mystery goo observation. Keep it. I don't know if my EVA here will be usable because I think I already have one in the capsule. Nope, no, they kept it because it's technically a different biome. So I did a little bit extra science, crew report. Okay, there you go. I can't overwrite the crew report. So some of the experiments you can't overwrite, or you can overwrite more easily, and you don't want to overwrite, you lose your science. So I think that's about as much as I'm going to do. So let's recover the vessel and see what we got. We got 39 science, and 3,400 funds recovered from the vessel because we went out and collected it, supposedly. We got credit for fuel and parts. The closer you land to Kerbal Space Center, I think the higher the reward for anything that you recover. And obviously we got whatever funds from completing the contracts, and we gained some reputation, which again I don't really keep track of. But I'm sorry, that's Kerbal reputation, I think. No, 0 Kerbal reputation, total reputation. Yeah, Kerbal reputation is helpful. Eventually we'll get some of that. So we'll go back into mission control and see what else we can do. Again, I don't think escaping the atmosphere and orbiting is something we want to do just yet. Conducting observational surveys are boring. But we may end up having to do one. Hauling the parachute into flight over Kerbal. The trick here, those types of missions or contracts, is the objectives are very specific. So I have to have the parachute on the craft from an altitude of 5,000 to 11,000 meters while going that fast. So that seems simple enough, but it's easy to exceed 180 meters per second. So you've got to either time it perfectly or use an engine like a liquid and oxidizer fueled engine where you can throttle it and control your speed a lot easier. the craft that I built for the first mission, that might be tough to accomplish. So what else do we have? So test the swivel on a suborbital trajectory, which is just a really high trajectory that doesn't completely orbit the planet and crash back down. Don't want to do that just yet. Yep. Looks like I'm kind of stuck doing something that I don't usually enjoy doing. Take the crew report below 19,500. The trick with these is you don't really know where the target location is. I have no idea where Gene's Tranquility is until I actually accept the mission. I think technically if I went to the map, it would give me a preview, but that requires me to go look at a map and remember which contract I want to do, which one I want to avoid. Alright, let's be decisive. This one escaped the atmosphere, 70,000 meters. I think the issue with that one's going to be I don't really have enough parachutes, a variety of parachutes, and I need a pretty good size craft, plus probably a decoupler. So before we pick a contract, then maybe let's leave and let's go turn in our science that we got. So we start with here with this, and we have 39 science points accumulated, so we can get basic rocketry, which gives us our first liquid fuel engine. Want that? Our first fuel tank, we definitely want that. There's a decoupler I was talking about. We need some of those, different sizes. There's another science experiment, which is super helpful, and finally something we can use to transmit. Survivability is always a great feature. I think the last time I played through, I ended up going survivability next for the additional science experiment. And putting your experiments in a service bay can help prevent them from breaking up, especially in the earlier stages when you don't have enough parachutes or surviving re-entry. So, again, let's be decisive. If and when, as soon as I get to this Terrier is when orbit becomes super feasible. So let's go and get some more science, because ultimately science is what I'm going to need to get up to the Terrier. And I'm tapped out. 14 science points. Can't afford anything else. So that'll do. Mission control. I bet now probably exceed 70,000 meters. I'll do that. See if we decline one of these, what replaces it. I think we get a little penalty if we decline things, but sometimes it's better to decline and look for something that you actually want to do. There we go. I was looking for something like that. I'm kind of cheating. I'm kind of abusing a mechanic of the game, but testing a heat shield at the launch site, that's about as easy as it gets. I get a science point, get some money. Let's do that. I do want money because I will need to upgrade the launch pad. That's going to cost me 50,000 units. Might as well actually do it now because I'll need to do it later, and my crafts are already pretty cheap. Not like I'm spending a lot of money to build these things. There's our craft from before. We've already got 2 more science experiments, so tack those on. But remember, now we've got our service bay. Let's put the service bay there. Let's put our new coupling there. That way we can shed the weight of the engine on the way down, which will be super helpful. Why is the coupling in there? There we go. If I toggle my snap, it'll let me snap to the bottom of the command module. Put all our science experiments in here. Now that we've got a little more weight, let's slap 2 more parachutes on there. The reason I'm not putting a communication device is because we don't have any batteries, and transmitting science tends to take up an awful lot of power. So the idea with this is get really high into the atmosphere. Actually, now we've got a hammer. Let's get rid of the flea. We're gonna use a liquid fuel engine just because we can. Let's see. So we can put 9 more parts on this thing before it exceeds the capacity of the building that we're in, the vehicle assembly building. I'll put some fins on that. Here's our bottom stage. Coupling, second stage. So, rule of thumb, you're going to need, I'd say, roughly 3,000 meters per second to get to orbit, give or take. And between the 2 stages, that's definitely not enough. So you can see, even with all this, we're not going to achieve orbit, but we definitely will get out of the atmosphere. I'm not sure that I need a heat shield. That's the little one. It adds weight and cost, but it'll protect my science, which is the most important part of this mission. Let's check. I think we're good. I don't think we can do EVAs in the when we leave the atmosphere because our astronauts aren't leveled high enough. The astronaut complex is not high enough, but that'll be something we do next time, maybe. All right, pick our pilot. So Jeb's going to continue to gain some experience, but it takes some significant milestones to actually unlock levels. Things like landing on other planets, planting flags, orbiting, things like that. So we can use them again. I don't think it's going to help or hurt. Double check my staging one last time. Looks good. Let's launch. Coming on 17 minutes. I don't know how big of a video I can upload into YouTube without giving you guys too many commercials, so I may call it a video pretty soon. All right. Turn on my SAS with the T shortcut. Throttle up with Z. I'm not going to need that throttle just yet. The hammer solid fuel boosters, obviously solid fuel throttling doesn't help or hurt, but that way it'll be fully throttled when I stage to my liquid fuel rocket engine. All right, turn on my maneuver mode. And that's going to tell me my apoapsis and periapsis. I need to get my apoapsis above 70,000 meters to complete that mission. And testing the heat shield. Perform the test, run test option. Let's see, I think that's this heat shield actually. No, it is not. That is the larger heat shield. So, let me show you guys that trick. Yeah, let's do that real quick. I'm gonna slap on the smaller heat shield just for the sake of completing the contract. Do I want to put it there? Let's put it down here and really cheat. Shield. Need a beating one. Coupling. That ought to be fun. Okay. I'll run the test on the heat shield, complete my contract, and immediately launch. Let's see if I can reach it. Oh, I'm wobbling. That's why I added the second decoupler. I was hoping it would. Oh, I can't be able to. I can't get the camera down there. Clicked it. Oh, there we go. Okay, run test. There we go. Contract complete. Send her back on the rocket, and let's kick this baby. again, I just need to get that up to 70,000 meters or higher, and I'll complete my second contract. Let's also kick off to the right above the water, so we'll come back down on land. Running out of fuel in the first stage, so let's drop it. There's our swivel engine. It's got a little bit of gimbal to it, which helps with control, because I don't have any fins and I'm not super aerodynamic. Just need to get that apoapsis above 70 to complete the mission. So it's starting to climb. There we go. Right on a few, just above 75. Okay. Let's log some pressure, log some temperature. Okay, let's put those over there so I can remember to do those in a moment. I bet I'm high enough to log another mystery goo. Yeah, keep that. Do that one in the atmosphere. Let's see. Do this one if we splash down again. I think I didn't do one over the water yet. I think that's the third pressure gauge. I think that's it. Nope. It's the third temp gauge. Okay. I'm at 56,000. Good report. Upper atmosphere. I guess I'll just soon keep it. Just when I'll leave the atmosphere. Probably from now on, I can get out of the atmosphere the next time I come up. Speed up time till we get out, and then watch for the transmission of our. There we go. Got it. Completed a milestone, and we completed a contract. So we get science data while in space near Kerbal. Let's keep that and get rid of the reminder. Pressure, keep that. Log our temperature, keep that. Mystery goo, I think we already did a mystery goo. Alright. We won't be needing our swivel engine anymore, and all our science is safely tucked away in here. Again, we don't have any batteries, so that electric charge is starting to drain out of the command module. We can't do a whole lot of maneuvering. Let's drain the battery. Might even turn off SAS until I need it. And let's speed up time. Coming back down. Starting to pick up speed. Might not have needed the heat shield. Guess we'll see. No, yeah, definitely not. But starting to get into the thicker part of the atmosphere, so maybe we will flare up. Yep, there we go, a little bit of heat. Slowing back down again, atmosphere's super thick here. 10,000 meters. I like to deploy chutes when I stop slowing down. Or at least slowing down so fast. Good. And now we can speed up time. Again, the parachutes aren't fully deployed, which is why we're still moving so fast. I get down to about 1,000 meters. There they go. That's super slow. 3 parachutes is really doing the trick. Splash down. Do the rest of my science. Oh, apparently I'd already done that one. Log pressure. And then log temperature. Alright. That's it for this mission. Cover the vessel. Back up to 107 science. 216,000 credits. Again, no real XP gain for our Kerbonauts. Ooh, got a couple splashdown contracts. Those are always easy to do. Ferrying people can also be relatively straightforward. Let's go and see how we can spend our R&D. 20, 45. Maybe I should have waited on those contracts because Now we have the Terrier engine. The coupler is going to be wonderful. Okay, that's about as much as we can afford. Alright, for the sake of keeping the video short, I'm going to go ahead and stop it. I'll probably move on and do the next mission, which will be building a bigger rocket that can actually get us into orbits. So, thank you guys for tuning in. We learned something. If you're trying to play Kerbal, haven't gotten this far, um, hopefully I'm making it look easy, because I can promise you it took me 4 or 5 times as long to figure some of these things out. Again, I'm not giving you a complete walkthrough. There's lots of other little tidbits to go and learn. You could explore the campus. You could use the space plane hangar. A lot of folks tend to get a lot of their early science using only planes. You can slap all those experiments on a plane, load a scientist into the plane, fly around, drive around even on the campus. Each of these sections of the campus counts as a different biome. So technically you can get an awful lot of science without even leaving the shore. But I like to make rockets, so that's what I'm doing. Well, again, hope you guys enjoyed the video, got something out of it. Like the video if you did. If not, see you never. Hopefully see you again next time. Thanks.